Hello! I'm just randomly going live just so I can show you my new book. So I thought I'd just talk you through it a little bit. So if there's any harpists out there that would, any lever harpists who fancy trying a little bit of jazz, this is the book for you. And I put it together after a friend called Anita. Anita as in she said, well, why don't you put all your lever pieces in one place? So here they all are. Pedal Sliders, which is the book company which Tony Robinson and I put together a few years ago. We have lots of books which you probably are aware of, Easy Jazz and Blues, our Christmas book. And they're usually a mixture of lever harp and pedal harp. But this one, it can be played on pedal, but it is for lever harpists, and it's got the lever changes in there as well. So who have we got joining us here? Hello everybody. Greetings from Italy. Hello. Hope you've got sunshine over there. We're just drowning in rain here. Thank you for joining me, everybody. So this is the new book. It's called The Jazz Lever Harp Companion. I'm not sure if that's back to front for you or not. And it's a book of relatively easy pieces, but because they've got the chord symbols on the top as well, it means that you can improvise. So it's really for all levels, quite sort of grade 1, 2, 3, can read the earlier pieces, and then the advanced harpist can just take the chords and use them as a lead sheet and improvise. So it really does, if you want to do background music or gigs and things, it's a really great book for that as well. And it's got some Christmas pieces in it as well at the back. There's Silent Night, Jingle Bells, and also I wrote a new piece for the book called Christmas Morning. All of the other pieces are taken from the Pedal Sliders library, including the last book which I wrote was When the World Paused, which I've written over lockdown, but that's only out on PDF, so you've now got some of them in print. It's a really beautifully designed book. This is done by Alex Robinson, and I really hope you like it. So there's lots of different styles, so I thought today I would just play you a few pieces from it. So if you've got pupils or if you fancy having a go yourself, you can see how they sound really. So this one is called All Summer Long. Now, I am not a lever harpist. I grew up learning lever harp, and then I went on to the pedal harp, which is what we tend to do here in Wales. Love your playing. Oh, how kind of you. So yeah, lever harp is not my main instrument anymore. Pedal harp is. So I'm used to doing pedals, especially for jazz. And I realised when I sat behind a lever harp, my lever changes are not that great. So I thought I'd write pieces which didn't need too many lever changes. So in that respect, the pieces are quite easy, as in you don't have to do too much up here. So I went more for the groove ideas, and I teach jazz a lot. And I think people like the lovely harmonies of jazz, and also the groove, which is quite important rather than being very, very busy. So these pieces are quite simple and quite modal for that reason. So this one's called All Summer Long, and it's in C major. So on the music it says set harp to C major. And then I've just put this 1 F sharp up in a little diamond. So the lever changes are in diamonds. So I'll just play a little bit of it so you can hear it. Relaxed. And then in most of the pieces I've put an area where you can improvise. So I give you two chords, that kind of thing. If I show you in here what I mean by this, which page are we on here? Page 20 here. So usually in most of the pieces you have this kind of area which tells you the chord. So in that respect you can take a bar, another chord from another bar, which is D minor, or just play the D. And then any of those notes are available to you for improvising. Rodrigo, greetings from Belgium. Hello. Thank you everyone for joining me. So yeah, these notes in the box are the notes that you can actually improvise with. And if it's a chord of D, think of the notes of D. So the chord symbols apply to the left hand, so D, F, A, C. Whereas whereas the right hand is kind of looking at the notes in between as well. So the scale that goes with the left hand chord. So if we have a D minor chord in the left, we can have without the F sharp, we can have a D scale in the right, and it's actually a D Dorian because the harp is set in C. So in those improvised areas, just do a really simple left hand to keep the groove going, and then improvise. And I think one of the hardest things with jazz is keeping the groove going. So spend a little bit of time just keeping that left hand on a really, that kind of feel, just get that going. And then just maybe add one note out of the chord maybe. That kind of feel. And then when you feel a little bit more advanced, you can add more notes. But notes do not make things more beautiful. Sometimes on our, well, all the time on our harps, one note is just stunning. So let it ring. And I think as harpists, we're so kind of conditioned to play loads and loads of notes to show our chops. And in jazz, we call it our chops, what we've got, what we can play. So maybe just come back a bit and just chill with it. Oh, we've got Brandy. Hello, Brandy. Nice to see you, and Ellen. Oh, hello everybody. So yeah, we have this. It's just very relaxed. And most of the pieces I've written recently, I don't know if it's down to the pandemic, but they're quite chilled. So there's not too much to think about with lever changes and, you know, really difficult rhythms. You can just sit there on a really nice groove and just relax, really. So that one's called All Summer Long. There's lots of beautiful pieces. Well, I think they're beautiful anyway. So this one's Blue Skies. We forgot the C lever. Area. So all the notes are on there. There's me playing wrong ones. That's not a good show, is it? Who have we got there? Reminds me a lot of Bill Evans. Gosh, what an honour. Thank you very much. That's really kind. So that's Blue Skies. Then there's a piece called Feet Up. As I say, I'm not very good on levers, okay? So this book really is an honest thing of not many levers because I'm not very good with them myself. More groove based. Noodle on that all day, can't you? That really gets into your bones. You really just want to, yeah. You feel cool playing it. You know, I think I'm a bit of a Deborah Henson or a Brandy in there. So that's called Feet Up. That's a really cute little piece. The Winter Trees, again, so on the music I've written, set the harp to, I've got lots of waves going on there, hello. Set the harp to C major, and I write that on the music, set harp to C major, so that's telling us what levers we need up here, right? And then the other thing in the music is swing. So I don't know how versed everyone is in swing. The swing always applies to the quavers, pretty much the quavers only. And that's the thing. So I try and treat two quavers as, I do, two quavers as a triplet, and we're just missing the middle partial of the triplet. So what would be 1 and 2 and becomes 1 and 2 and 3 and that's the one problem that pupils do have with swing. So I usually start off with counting one, sort of 12/8 really, 1 2 and then that eventually becomes hump D dump D hump D long short. that is one of the biggest problems I encounter as a teacher trying to teach jazz, is the swing rhythm. So even just getting them to go away and clap the swing rhythm, feel it, and count a few bars of it before they start, so they join in the right kind of groove. I haven't written the music as dotted quavers, semi-quavers, because I want people to realise, I mean, as teachers, things you do realise, but I want people, the children or the pupils, to maybe understand that the music looks exactly the same on the page as classical music does. So the quavers and everything look exactly the same. Here, they look exactly the same, but we're feeling it in a bar of 12/8. So every time you see 2 quavers, we're actually thinking of it as a triplet without the middle bits. 1, 2, a little bit like you're on a horse, that kind of feel to it. So I haven't written it as dotted quaver, semi-quaver, which is what lots of jazz pieces are written for harp. That means you're playing in a jazzy style. I'm trying to do a little bit more of educating in reading it as a jazz musician. So you're seeing the music as it looks in classical, but we're playing it quite differently due to the symbol at the top saying swung, and 2 quavers equals a triplet. So I know I've been a bit harsh with that, not writing it in a jazzy style. So true. Also, listening gives us help to focus on the right timing. Yeah. I think out of everything, we can all read the notes. It's the timing that really throws people. So I very much some people like to teach it straight to start with, and other people then like to put the swing in afterwards. But from my own pupils, I've kind of found, teaching it as swing, understanding swing from day one is really part of our lessons, and what the 2 quavers equaling the triplet means. So yeah, we've all got different ways of teaching that, I think, haven't we? So it's just really how you deal with that. I have some of the pieces are actually on the Pedal Sliders website, and the earlier books, when I worked with Tony Robinson, he was very good at IT, and he put all the Sibelius, the logic files on there. So lots of them are online, and you can download the zip files. So the first, say, 2/3 of the book is online on the Pedal Sliders website. Download the MP3s and you can slow them down in Logic, and that might help then with the swing feel. As I said, that's really the only problem. You can get around notes, can't we? It's the actual swing rhythm, which is what throws us all a little bit. So I'll just play you a few more pieces. Now I'm just chatting. Sorry, I love chatting. So you can get the feel of it. But I've also given you the option that could be a simple version of a piece for somebody, but you can then go on to the next section if you want to. So there's a freedom in these pieces, and that's why I kind of like that the pupil can maybe mould, or the player can mould the piece to how they want. You don't have to play it exactly as it is on the page, and I think that's also getting into the mindset of a jazz musician. There's freedom. You can add bits, you can take away bits, you can improvise bits. It's free. So I'm very much trying to promote that feeling of, where's your voice? What's your personality? And when I went to college to do my master's in jazz, that was one of the first questions I was asked. What's your voice? Who are you? What's your sound? And I didn't know. I've just been so used to playing what's on the page and doing what I'm told. So when I've been given the freedom to do whatever I like, it was a bit scary. And I think that's one of the things with jazz, people find it a bit scary. So this is trying to keep you in a safe environment, yet giving you a little bit of freedom to try out your own things. So this next piece is called Thinking. I'm just going to play you a few bars out of all of them so you get the idea of it. Hello, all these lovely people. Oh, hello. Thank you for joining me. So... but just to sit there and, you know, improvise and be free. And I've also found some pupils at the moment are really suffering with the pandemic and not feeling very good. And me giving them lots of homework is not going down very well. So if I say to them, look, here's one chord, take it out of the piece, out of one of the pieces, and just play around, have a noodle. You know, just keep your foot tapping. Classical, we're not supposed to tap a foot, are we? But in jazz, get them to tap a foot. You have to hold your rhythm somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, just 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. They could sit and do that for ages, and because it's not really taxing them reading music, it really relaxes people. It relaxes students if they don't want to do, you know, reading Nadaman or something. It just gives them a bit of time out, but they're still playing and they can still make sure that they're enjoying it as well. So that's just something I'm finding in these times when, you know, life's a little bit tricky and they've got a lot on their plate. Really does help. So also in the book there's lots of exam pieces, and there's 23 pedal sliders pieces on the Trinity syllabus. Tony Robinson and I wrote a good few books before I've gone on my own merry way, writing in a slightly different style, more modally. But lots of the earlier books are on the Trinity syllabus, and Wibbly Waltz is one of them. I think you all know that one, so I won't play that. There's Strut Your Stuff Blues. And then we get into the Christmas things, Jingle Bells, Silent Night. So I'll just give you a little flavour of Silent Night. And again, the introduction is C major to G7. That can be taken out, those 4 bars, and put on a loop as maybe halfway through the piece. So you play it through once, then maybe have an improvised section, and then you can play it again to finish it. It's a way of making the piece longer as well. And it's also giving that freedom I'm talking about. So let me just check my levers. As I said, I'm not the best lever harp player, hence this piece is great for minimum lever changes. So this one's straight. Then in the middle section you can take those 4 bars and just take the left hand, 3, so give them that, just the left hand of the first bar, 4 bars, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and loop it again. Help with getting some freedom into the piece. And finally in the book there's a piece called Christmas Morning, which I wrote a few weeks ago, and it's really lovely, and there's 1 lever change in the whole piece, which I'm thrilled at. Guess what? Oh, hello Bear. Hello everybody. Oh, and Kathy as well. Hello. 1 lever change, and this piece, you know, it's just a Christmas morning piece, so there's no improvised section, but again, you could take the initial groove and you could just go around on that for a loop if you want a little bit of freedom. The book and see how that goes, how it finishes up. So really lovely to see you all. Thank you for joining me today, and yeah, all of the music is online. It's available from Harp Column, and the book is available from Harp Studio, Tylynau Beinin, Morley Harps, and the Instrumentarium in Paris. Have I forgotten anybody in there? I don't think so. And Amazon, of course. A great lady and a great music. Oh, what are you after, Bear? Thank you, that's awesome. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, let me know how you get on. If you do any videos of it, anyone playing the pieces, please post them. It'd be really lovely, lovely to see them. Thank you. Ah.